gorgeous blue skies and the warmth again of the state of Florida. Welcome back, folks, to Sebring International Raceway, where we had spring training just a couple of weeks ago. It's time to go racing for the USF Juniors presented by Cooper Tires. My name's Rob Howden, in for what will be a long weekend of racing. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all three levels of the USF Pro Championships. Juniors 2000 and Pro 2000 all here in Florida. And standing alongside me right now, the driver who will be on the pole position for race number one of a triple header for USF Juniors, Joey Brienza. Great way to start the season. When you qualify on pole, you know you got the exact place you want to be to the start of race one.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm really pumped for the boys, everybody at Exclusive Auto Sport. Obviously with the juniors being a brand new package for this year, it's going to present its new challenges for everybody, not just the drivers. So really speaks to the team and what a great quality team we have, being able to come out, have a fast car, and not only put it on pole, but also lock out the front row with my teammate Jack. So super, almost perfect way to start the season for the team, and for myself, yeah, shows that all the off-season work is starting to pay off. But you know, at the end of the day, I got 3 more races left this weekend, so we got to keep our heads down and push.
Indeed, alongside Joey Brienza, Jack Jeffers on the outside of the front row, so all Exclusive Autosport front row, but this is a tough racetrack. 3.74 miles, 17 corners, Joey. That's a lot of corners to perfect to be fast here. One little mistake in each corner and you're way in the back of the middle of the pack. You were able to put a really good lap down. Do you remember the lap? Did it feel like it was perfect?
Yeah, I remember one corner from the lap, to be honest, and that was the last corner, 16 or second to last corner on the track, but before the timing line, it's the last one. And I just remember being scared going through that corner because I knew the lap was good, and I just remember going through the corner so on the limit and like almost dipping a tire on the edge, because if I dipped the tire, the lap was toast. So I was like, I need to be perfect right now, and went through there and did it about as good as I possibly could have. And I remember taking a deep breath down the front straight and going, it's a pretty good lap. Now I got to go do it again, because the way this works is you got to put 2 good laps in. So it was like, all right, congrats, you're pole for race 1, now go get it for race 2 and 3.
That's exactly it. He said there, fastest lap in qualifying, the pole for race 1. Second fastest lap, provisionally the pole for race number 2 and race number 3 as well. Remember, folks, 5 days ago, this racetrack was packed with people, was packed with race cars for the 12 hours of Sebring. Let's wrap things up for the intro here. What was the racetrack like? Was there more grip than we had at spring training a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, there was tons of grip. And I think off track, too, you can notice a difference, because out of like every single corner on the exit curb, on like the outside part of it, it was so dug out because all the LMP2 cars and, you know, DPI cars were going off and dropping wheels. So, you know, dropping a wheel is never good, but now if you drop a wheel, your entire lap is completely like ruined. So, you know, that made the last quarter even scarier knowing that. But in terms of on track, there's a ton of grip. Turn 1 is, I mean, you're going so fast through there, but it feels so smooth just because the amount of grip that's built up there.
It's going to be a lot different for all the drivers than it was for spring training. USF 2000, Pro 2000, their season already got started at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. In a couple of minutes, we're going to go green flag racing to start this year's USF Juniors program, brought to you by Cooper Tires. Don't go away, folks. Right after this, we'll come back with the driver lineup.
Give them a lot of hot.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
Ready? And it's all thanks to Kyle. Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper! It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com,
So easy.
which gives us more time for things like
Come on, Mom.
It's ready.
wow. Are you sure it's ready?
Oh, it's ready.
And it's all thanks to Kyle. Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. If you and your truck are constantly tackling the regular duties of the day, go with a tire that can handle them all. Oh, man. I stepped in it. Go with the Coopers.
Discount Tire can change my tires and wiper blades at the same time. You can change your tires and wiper blades at the same time with Discount Tire.
I'm going back to bed.
You can change your tires and wiper blades at the same time with Discount Tire.
USF Pro Championships, the world's greatest motorsports ladder program with a proven formula, where top junior drivers from around the world come to compete across the best tracks in North America, where the opportunity to climb to the top is guaranteed, promoting every champion to the next level, where champions are made and legends established. 52 races, over 50 up-and-coming drivers, and 3 scholarships valued at over $1.3 million. The USF Pro Championships, tomorrow's champions, forged today.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com,
So easy.
which gives us more time for things like
Come on, Mom.
Ready?
And it's all thanks to Kyle. Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
Pit lane as we get set to go for the first round of the 2023 USF Junior Championship presented by Cooper Tires this entire weekend. The Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring. 3 rounds of racing, 1 to cap off the day today. And, of course, our drivers in the USF Pro 2000 category joining the juniors tomorrow. They'll have qualifying in a race tomorrow as well, and then another qualifying in a race on Saturday. The 4-day event separating all the different programs. And, again, getting set to get rolling here today. The drivers just starting to roll out onto pit lane. We'll give you the driver lineup momentarily. Joining me in the booth today from Pabst Racing, Jordan Missig celebrated a birthday, yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yesterday. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm turning 25 today, so feel a little bit older but wiser as much as I can say.
That's it, right? As a driver, you want to be a little bit wiser with every new race. Let's talk about that. Obviously, you get to get back on track tomorrow, your second year in USF Pro 2000. Obviously, Pabst Racing seemingly taking a step forward as well. Found a little speed over the offseason. How excited are you to get on track tomorrow?
Oh, we're very excited. Obviously, as we mentioned here, we had our spring training testing here, so we have a plethora amount of track time being here at Sebring. So definitely being on the track as well. itself. This is such a fun track to be able to drive. Obviously, throughout the numerous amount of years, we've been able to do the short course. Now it's the first time I get to do, and we get to do as a group, the long course. So different little bit of track for us, but very excited to get on track here tomorrow.
All right, folks, about set to get things rolling here right now. We'll give you the grid lineup when they get rolling around the racetrack, because all 13 of our drivers and USF juniors have got themselves down onto pit lane, and it is about time to get things underway. Drivers, start your engines! And with that, engines coming to life down on pit lane, and we will give you an opportunity to have a look at the grid here. USF Juniors race number 1. In qualifying, it was Joey Brienza, who was the quickest, but we'll start at the tail of the field. Coming into Junior Formula Open Wheel Racing, not a lot of experience, but going to be getting a bunch of it here this weekend in the opening round of this series. Giovanni Cabrera from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the exclusive Autosport number 93, starting 13th into that next row 6. Carson Eder, the Californian, on the outside for DC Autosport, another driver with not a lot of open wheel experience. Did some F4 racing, but a lot of off-road racing. Carson Eder in the 57, set to get a ton of experience here today. Alongside him, all the way from Brazil in the number 90, Eric Schouten for exclusive Autosport, starting on the inside of row number 6. Row number 5 on the outside will be Brady Golan in the number 18, another young driver out of Austin, Texas, looking to find the experience he needs to move forward, and that is what this USF Juniors program is all about, and that's experience. Alongside him, a driver who raced as a privateer last year in USF Juniors, the number 12 of Ethan Barker out of Houston, Texas. Barker running for VRD Racing, starting in the 9th position. We'll go to row number 4 now. On the outside, Nicholas Giaffoni in the number 19 machine. Giaffoni, driver out of Brazil, starting 8th. Very quick in spring training here, so look for Giaffoni to work his way forward. He'll start row 4 alongside Lucas Facuri in the number 17. Facuri running for D-Force Racing. We'll move now up to row number 3 on the outside. Keep an eye on Quinn Armstrong, was the quickest driver in morning warm-up here today for D-Force Racing in the number 16, second-year driver. Armstrong out of Australia. He will start on the outside of row 3 alongside Ethan Ho, who is quick as well. We were here for spring training. Ho in the number 68 for DC Autosport, starting P5. Row 4, I'll see a couple drivers from VRD Racing. On the outside, Jimmy Lockhart in the number 48. He celebrated a birthday here recently as well, the driver to Fort Lauderdale. And inside, it's Max Taylor to Hoboken, New Jersey. In the number 33, Taylor, the VRD driver, starting on the inside of row number 2. Field working its way down out of turn number 7 through 8, 9, and 10. Will go green this time. By 13 drivers getting set to go on the outside of the front row. It's all exclusive Autosport in the front row. Jack Jeffers in the number 92 will start on the outside of that front row position. The Texan out of San Antonio and the Corpay Cross-Border Solutions machine on the outside, but the driver qualifying on the pole to start off the season out of Golden, Colorado in the number 91. Joey Brienza, only driver able to get below the 211s. He will start in the P1 position. It'll be Brienza and Jeffers on row 1, Taylor and Lockhart row 2, Ho and Armstrong on row 3, Facuri and Giaffoni on row 4, Barker and Golan row 5, Schotten and Eder on row 6, and Cabrera on row number 7. Drivers working their way around here to get things underway. Remember, these young drivers, they were from 14 to about 19 years of age. They're still working their way around the back part of the racetrack. Jordan, this is tough, man. This is when you got to stay focused. What's going through your head on that opening lap before you go green?
Well, by this time right now, everyone's got a little bit of nerves, but for the most part, the nerves are kind of left your body at this point. Now the visor's down, the mindset's there, you're getting the tires warmed up, it's time to go to work as we get ready to go racing. So right now, you're just kind of envisioning what's going to be like going through that long front straightaway here, and as they make their approach to turn 1, you're just kind of envisioning it all, how the lap's going to play out.
That's it, and you don't want to get yourself locked into turn number 1. I'm expecting this to happen. You have to expect the unexpected coming into turn number 1. Drivers, again, working their way down this back straightaway as we get set to go racing for the first time here for the drivers in USF Juniors. Again, 18 races over 6 weekends, all triple headers, and we're excited to see these drivers get at it here right now. Again, this is the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring. It'll be 10 laps around a 3.7-mile circuit. Pace cars ducked on off, time to go racing. Turn 1's going to be the crazy one to get things underway. Again, it's all exclusive Autosport in the front row, and they'll go 3 or 4 wide. Guys are keeping to the bottom. Brains is down to the bottom of the racetrack. 2 of the D-Force drivers go way wide coming out of the corner. They're going to try to see if they can't hold on to the position as they will work their way through here again into turn number 1. They're clean through 1 thus far as they'll get themselves out of 1. down into turn number 3, the left-hander. Turn 2 is barely the kink down into turn number 3. They'll work their way under the bridge as well. That's out of turn number 3, 4, and 5. Then it's the short straightaway that leads up right near the hotel, the 7 Hotel. That is turn number 7. They'll work their way down. It looks to me like Brienza's out to a good lead. Jeffers slotted into second. One of the D-Force cars has got himself up into that third position from the get-go here, so that might be Quinn Armstrong, who broke early. As soon as that green flag flew, he got to the outside of the racetrack. Otherwise, drivers clean and green coming through turn number 7. They'll work their way down. Now to turn number 10 for the first time. Good start for Joey Brienza. And Jordan, you've led a lot of races in your career. When you can get out early, that opening lap, build a little bit of a gap, especially when it's your teammate behind you. Big, I think, a breath of air, a little sigh of relief to start the opening lap.
Absolutely. You know, the nerves, like we said, are always high. So anytime you can get a little bit of breath of air, kind of calm those nerves down and kind of get yourself, lower the heart rate a little bit when you're in this car, because it's going to be a long race and the heart rate is going to elevate the longer and longer the race goes on.
That's exactly it. And again, as I said, the drivers now working their way out of turn number, I think, 13 at this point here. They'll work their way around, and again, opening lap in the books here, almost in the books here right now, as they are digging Brienza out front. Down the front straightaway they come for the first time, and indeed a pretty good break right there for Brienza. He's got a nice little lead under the way. They'll work their way down now here into turn number 1. And I think that is definitely a move. We saw a driver get his way by here now. And that was Quinn Armstrong, as he was able to make a move by Jack Jeffers. So there's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th very close together. 7th not that far back. I believe that's Ethan Ho. But there's the lead coming out of turn number 5. For Joey Brienza, the exclusive Autosport driver out front here right now. The Colorado pilot trying to get out early. 10 laps. First one in the books. Lap 1 down. Here's your order. Brienza, Jeffers, Armstrong across the line. As we know, Armstrong was able to go to the inside, so he runs in 2nd. Jeffers in 3rd. Lockhart 4th. 5th is Taylor. 6th, Ho. 7th, Giafoni. 8th, Barker. 9th, Golan. 10th, Schotten. 11th is Fakuri. 12th was Carson Eder, and 13th, Giovanni Cabrera. There comes Brienza through, and look at that run for 2nd. Great start here for Quinn Armstrong, who ran last year in the inaugural year of USF Juniors, was a very strong driver inside the top 10 for most of the season. But as I say all the time, Jordan, you can attest to this. You feel so much different in your 2nd year in the series. You think back to your rookie races when you were first into the Pro 2000 category and how much more calm you are, more mature, and more experienced you are right now as a 2nd-year driver in that program.
Yeah, it's just receipt time. It kind of boils down to, and you get more experience, more laps in, so you get more comfortable with the car. You're understanding and knowing what to expect out of the race car itself, whereas the first time, you're kind of starting to understand it. You're learning all the aspects, so everything's a learning curve to you. When it's your 2nd year, you kind of understand what it's all about, so now you know what to expect, you know what you're looking for, and when you know what you're looking for out of the car, it's important and crucial to kind of get to that fine-tuned moment that you want to get to.
That is it. You learn so much coming up through the ranks. You think about the fact that Jordan's obviously been around for a number of years. Any of the drivers who worked their way from USF Juniors all the way through to the Pro 2000 category in the next couple of years, how much they're going to learn about the car dynamics, the development of the communication with their engineers. Drivers rolling their way out of turn number 17. Sunset Bend here at Sebring coming across the line. And it is a good lead right now for Joey Brienza. A little bit of a battle further back. We're going potentially 3 wide here for 4th. Coming down the inside of the racetrack. That's one of the VRD cars. And way wide for one of the D-Force drivers. He's got to get out of it. Yeah, one of those D-Force drivers had to check way up. I think that might have been Giafoni. Giafoni went wide as both Lockhart and Max Taylor stuck it to the inside, and here comes Ethan Ho. Drivers around, and Ho gets collected with it as well. One of the VRD drivers goes around. That's the number 33 of Max Taylor. He loops it coming out of turn number 3, and nowhere to go. Ethan Ho had to take evasive maneuvers. He goes to the left, cranks the wheel on it, and Jordan, that's all it takes is you crank that wheel. Car's just going to loop around on you.
Not only that, but this track is so bumpy as it is, so if you have so much wheel in the car and you hit a bump at a certain angle and a certain time, that thing's going to snap around you quicker than you can realize it.
And we saw a couple of spins right there, the 12-hour Sebring, too. A couple of drivers came through that corner. We're up on top. One of the prototypes ended up going around as well. It seems like a pretty easy corner to roll through, but you're trying to roll speed, and this track's bumpy. And every once in a while, when you roll onto that throttle, you could get some wheel spin.
That's just the natural Sebring when you come to this track. You know, it's something that you kind of have to keep an eye on and keep mindful of, but it can just latch out and grab you at any certain time.
Yeah, we saw that there for Max Taylor in the 33. So that's going to jumble up the top five in a big way because Taylor was running, I believe, in the either third or fourth position. Giafoni was getting ready to get passed by Ethan Ho. He gets lucky and slides through. So a number of drivers there in the top six getting a little bit of a shakeup. But up front, out of that chaos is Joey Brienza. The lead last time by was 1.3 seconds as they'll work their way through this part of the racetrack here through that 13, 14, 15 combination. And 16 is the very important corner where you roll it onto the back. And dropping a wheel is one of the big things at this racetrack, Jordan, especially coming onto the back straightaway there. You could potentially drop a wheel on the exit. You're trying to roll so much speed through 16, but if you drop a wheel there, that car will go around pretty quickly there as well.
Yeah, it just catches you out, and not only that, but it creates a huge dust cloud behind you as well. So it'll catch you out in a bad way to where, you know, you could snap the rear around, but sometimes you might be able to get away with it, but you got to be very careful with dropping a wheel here at this track.
Quinn Armstrong is most definitely closing up now. You can see Brienza moving to the inside of the racetrack a little bit. Armstrong right up there now. On to Joey Brienza. So Brienza leading the way. Armstrong runs in the second spot. Still Jefferson third. Lockhart fourth. Giafoni in fifth. Lucas Fakuri is now up into the sixth spot. Ethan Barker runs in seventh. Brady Golden in eighth. Eric Schoten in ninth. 10th is Carson Eder. 11th, Max Taylor. 12th is Ethan Ho. And 13th is Giovanni Cabrera. So again, Brienza, Armstrong, and Jeffers look pretty good up front. Jeffers has about 2.5 seconds back to Lockhart. So he's been able to kind of stretch himself a little bit and give himself a bit of a cushion, but I think we're going to have a battle up front here pretty soon. Joey Brienza leading the way and has for the first 3 laps, 7 to go, but it looks to me like Quinn Armstrong starting to put the target on the back. We may find ourselves with a battle for the race lead here momentarily. And indeed, where will it come? There's lots of places to pass here. Jordan, your thoughts, primary passing opportunities, turn one, of course. What else around this track?
Turn one, if you can execute turn one pretty good, then you have an opportunity for turn three. If you get a good run out of turn 5, it sets you up for 7. Turn 10 is another good opportunity. But then you really, once you come through 10, you don't have a good opportunity until you get all the way down to 15 after the runoff for turn 13.
Yeah.
Then after that, there's only one last opportunity, and that's after the long back straightaway into turn 17 of Sunset Bend. You know, and that's a corner that you can have multiple different lines. You can either enter in low on the inside to kind of cover off or put a dive bomb move into turn 17, or you can try to set them up wide and get the exit to set them up for turn number 1.
And that's it. It's such a wide part of the racetrack, and you get to the center of that corner. If you've got deep, if you're running the defensive line to try to cover off the bottom, you have a lot of wheel into that thing. You have to brake a bit earlier. You got a lot of wheel in it, try to keep it in the inside. A driver could potentially over under you. A lot of the times you can get a pass in one that actually came from 16 or 17. You got a better run out of 16. You got a much better run through 17. So at this track here, you oftentimes have to set a pass up a couple of corners before making the actual overtake. But right now, 3 laps down. These are long laps, as we know. Drivers currently turning about 2:13 lap times here up front. 2:13, 2:12s indeed. Brienza with a little gap. You see them coming down the front straightaway here now. The gap back to Jeffers as well. Armstrong kind of jinks to the inside, get into that left mirror of Brienza. They're all trying to roll so much speed coming. You see the little bump there on the exit where the drivers have to kind of have a settle there. Back into turn number 3. Wide entry for Brienza, trying to take care of these Cooper tires. And that's the other thing, only 2 sets of tires through qualifying and 3 races. As one driver's into pit lane, that's the number 33 of Max Taylor. So Taylor down pit lane. He was the driver that spun over in turn number 3 into pit lane. I don't know whether or not it was potentially a drive-through penalty, if there was an issue for Max Taylor. But indeed, into pit lane for him, and he'll be coming back big time in race number 2. Fast lap of the race so far, Ethan Ho, he was involved in that incident, as we said. He's back in the 11th spot right now. He's about 6 seconds behind Carson Eder, but was about 3 seconds a lap faster. So Ethan Ho, who is definitely a championship contender here, and I believe they're going to turn that car from a junior's car into a USF 2000 car overnight from Friday to Saturday. So he's going to run both categories, and we talked a lot about that with this car, this Tatis JR23. It doesn't take much, the kit, to be able to turn it from a juniors car into a USF 2000 car. We'll see a number of drivers do that, or teams do that on Friday night to be able to run on Saturday and Sunday in USF 2000 as well. And again, Ethan Ho showed well at spring training here the week before St. Petersburg. Most definitely will dial himself in to see what he can do in USF 2000 on the weekend. A long weekend for sure. 4 straight days of racing. We've kind of split it up a little bit. Jordan, you guys are Friday and Saturday. You're done Saturday night. What are your thoughts on going into this first race? You came off a pretty strong overall outing at St. Petersburg.
Yeah, I mean, definitely St. Petersburg. We'd like to have it a little bit better. I have used the term that I'm satisfied with the event. Definitely,
it's satisfied. I like that.
That's something that we knew we had a better car, and we knew we had a car that we can run up towards the top 5. But due to other circumstances out of our control, we weren't able to produce the amount of the starting position that we wanted to in one of the races. And when we put the result, we kind of had in the race 2, we were able to kind of show the true pace that we've been able to hold the entire length of the weekend. So coming into this week, we know we definitely have fast cars on our hands, and we're going to be using it as best we can to kind of get back into the point standings, especially after a momentum weekend that we had at St. Pete. So definitely looking forward to this weekend to get back on track and kind of get some more points.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a long run. This is a war, not just a battle. There are all these individual weekend battles, but it's a season-long war until we get to the event at Portland. So every little race you're in, you've got to find the points you can. You never know what driver is going to have a trouble and get that DNF. And everybody's going to have a DNF pretty much throughout the season. You just have to be the guy with the least DNFs and maybe make the most of it when your car is not perfect. The lead up front, just 0.3 of a second, as both Brienza and Armstrong have been able to pull away a bit here as they are now out front. It's still Jeffers running in 3rd, Lockhart 4th, and Giafoni in the 5th position. And up front, we could still see a pretty good battle. We're just past the halfway point, 6 laps down, 4 to go. And Brienza leading the way right now. Joey Brienza is your leader. And here they come through now. That is Brienza and Armstrong coming through. There's Jack Jeffers as well. He's got a bit of a gap to the leaders. There's the gap he has back to Jimmy Lockhart and Nicholas Giafoni. They run 4th and 5th respectively. But Jeffers has got a pretty good cushion right now. He's not in the position, I think, to be able to close up. Last time by a 2:13.2. He was about 0.7 of a second off of Brienza. But Armstrong's the quickest driver, at least in the lead group right now. Fastest driver on the racetrack is actually Ethan Ho, 2:12.106. He was 0.4 quicker than Joey Brienza. But again, of the leaders up front right now, it is Armstrong, a 2:12.476, a bit quicker than Joey Brienza. So indeed, there's a shot coming down the front straightaway. I believe that might be Cabrera. He's just coming across the line right now. Indeed, he had a bit of a trouble on that last lap for Cabrera. As he works his way through, then you'll see the big gap back to the leaders coming through. Here come the leaders, and I think we have a new one. We do. It is Armstrong up front. Quinn Armstrong, we believe, has gone to P1. Indeed, he has. Armstrong takes the lead to put lap number 6 in the books. Brienza now able to go after him. Brienza right up on him, staying off the gearbox. Brienza going to put the pressure on him. Here's the 2 drivers we most definitely expect to be part of a championship group. Jeffers runs there in 3rd. He's watching the whole thing as well. Armstrong leads. Again, we watched him come over last year with D-Force Racing and really learn the program. First time he'd run over here in the U.S., so he had to get used to the American culture a little bit, the team, the culture of the USF Pro Championships, just getting a feel for the race directors. This is the way we do everything. Obviously, Jordan, you run different programs. You run the Lamborghini Super Trofeo program as well. You run this USF Pro Championships. Every series has a different culture, different people at the top, and you have to get a feel for just the culture and the paddock and the community.
Yeah, it's just like any other team you go with, and you jump around teams when drivers go from team to team in the offseason. You got to learn the different culture and learn the different atmosphere of what it's like and what's the niche, what clicks in between a team and your team owners. Because really it comes down to personality and how well you work together is what's going to make the magic happen here. We saw obviously last year, Louis Foster came over from USF Pro 2000 and he immediately was, I would say he had a little bit of a slow start with exclusive, but once he got the niche going, man, he was like tooth and nail. He was really good and on the money with them.
Agreed. No doubt about that. Got a feel for the team. Got a feel for the tires, too. That's one of the big things, is getting a feel for these Cooper tires. A lot of guys are obviously on different equipment when they run overseas or back home on different tires, different cars, different engines. You got to get a feel for all the different components that make up the equation, the formula. Look at this fight further back. Big move down the inside. No, not quite enough. A couple of D-Force drivers are scrapping it out here. I want to say that is Nicholas Giafoni and Jimmy Lockhart and Lucas Facuri and Ethan Barker. So that is a battle for 4th and a battle for 6th. And they're all together. What a great fight that is. Here comes Cabrera, who is gaining more and more experience throughout this weekend here. Cabrera, very new to the program, just been doing a bunch of karting down here in South Florida, running down at Homestead, jumping into the deep end, no doubt about it, here in USF Juniors, but a great young man. I've had a chance to get to know him a little bit over the last couple of months and excited to see what he's going to be able to do and the growth he'll have throughout this 2023 season. But here's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and look at this battle. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Let's key back there. This is the fight for 4th and 5th. Oh, almost touching wheels coming in the braking zone. That is to the inside, Giafoni into the outside, Lockhart, and Barker has got by Lucas Facuri. So move Ethan Barker now up into P6. Good run here for Barker. And looking to the inside is Facuri. That is the 2 VRD drivers now running in 5th and 6th, Jimmy Lockhart and Ethan Barker. And they're trying to chase down Nicholas Giafoni, who now runs P4. But the battle up front still, Armstrong versus Brienza. Armstrong was able to close up on Brienza, made the move by, and has held the spot so far, but we are far from done in this battle here, as I believe, 7 or 8 laps in the books. Live timing messing up a little bit there. We'll have a look at it when it comes back around. I think this is either lap 7 or I think this could be lap 7 right now, so 3 more to go. And there come the leaders. Look at that. They are on top of each other. Jack Jeffers not that far back. And I wonder, he's been actually closing up. He was quicker than both Armstrong and Brienza on that last lap. There is 4th and 5th. So Jack Jeffers not done. And he is digging in. He's turning some of his best laps here. He literally was just over a 10th off his fastest lap. His fast lap came back on, I believe, I want to say lap number 2 potentially. Look at this. The leaders coming down here into turn number 16, working their way through. Jeffers is already through. This is now 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. This battle was wheel to wheel, side by side a lap ago. They've kind of settled back in. Facuri rolling a bunch of speed into turn number 16 to see if he can't get by. Laps winding down in this one. The first of 3 races for USF Juniors. The first race of the 2023 season. And a good indication for us to kind of see who the championship contenders are going to be, right? If you're running up front, if you're in the podium, if you're top 5, you got the speed to potentially run for a title. We're still a long way away from the finale for these drivers, which will take place at the Circuit of the Americas in late August. But there is 1st and 2nd. Brienza not wanting to give up yet, but a little more breathing room here now for Quinn Armstrong. Lap 8 going in the books, 2 laps to go. Jordan, you guys will have a long race as well. It's not as many laps as you ran at St. Petersburg because the race track is so long. But these last couple of laps, it's the work you do in the gym in the offseason to make sure you're still 100% mentally for the last couple of circuits.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the more and more we get into this race, the more and more fatigue is going to start to kick in for some of these drivers, where it's muscle fatigue, physical fatigue. It's all about being in the gym at this point in time, because that's where really all the hard work and emotion that you're putting in throughout the whole offseason really pays off. And I would say this track is very similar to kind of like an Indianapolis in some way, shape, or form. Not from the bumpy aspects, but from like just the times where you got the back straightaway and the front straightaway, long straightaways to kind of relax and be able to breathe. You have some of that straightaways here at Sebring, so that's coming in to help here. You're not as long straightaways like we had at St. Pete. The corners aren't as close together, but still, once you get on the backside, that's where the muscle fatigue and mental fatigue kicks in.
You mentioned the fact there's not a lot of place to pass in the back part of this racetrack, so you're constantly going back and forth. It's more of a rhythm section of the track, and Brienza all over Armstrong right now. Jeffers would love to see them battling to get himself back into the fight. I did get an update from pit lane from Logan Knapp, and the reason why Max Taylor had to pit was front wing damage, and potentially during the spin might have had that contact with Ethan Ho. Ho has got himself back up to 8th, so a good recovery for Ethan Ho. He's still 6 seconds behind Jimmy Lockhart, so I don't see him getting any more spots, but good recovery for both Lockhart and Ho as they now run 7th and 8th. So limiting the damage there for sure, but we will see, I believe, the white flag flying this next time by, I think, lap number 9 of 10 will go into the books, and it's still Armstrong over Brienza, but I don't think we're done with this fight at all. There's, I believe, Ethan Ho coming through there, and right behind him would be Brady Golan. So that's the tail of the field coming through. Watch for the leaders here to be coming back onto the front straightaway here momentarily. And it's going to be Armstrong versus Brienza. What's it going to look like on the last lap? Where's Brienza? Brienza's fallen back a bit. Yeah, Brienza's fallen back quite a bit. Coming across the line. I don't know if Brienza tried him somewhere, but on that last lap, looks like Brienza may have lost a little bit. He had turned his best lap on lap number 8. And he goes a 2:13.8. Yeah, lost 1.3 seconds. So you wonder whether or not somewhere back in the back part of the racetrack he might have took his shot and threw it down the inside because the gap now big between Quinn Armstrong and Joey Brienza. Armstrong looking to start the season off with the win. The Aussie who came over here to run with D-Force Racing last year. Will he stand on top of the podium in the first race of 2023? Right now, Brienza second. Jeffers third, Giafoni in fourth. He's got a second over Barker, Furcuri, and Lockhart. As Lockhart, who I believe was fourth at one point, fell back. He was in the battle there with Giafoni. He's lost a spot to both Barker and Furcuri. So something happened there with Jimmy Lockhart as well, as he's moved back a couple of spots, although he was running up in that fourth position. Final circuit, though. Quinn Armstrong putting his head down. Just trying to nail this final lap, hit all the marks. There's the gap. Remember, they were on top of each other for the longest time. You wonder whether or not there could be some kind of damage on the car of Joey Brienza. I don't know. He looks good so far. Last lap, he was a half a second off of Jeffers, so something must have happened. He had to go off track somewhere to go 1.8 seconds slower. But that last lap, probably trying to throw at it. Here comes the leader, though. Out of turn, I believe that's number 13 and 14. Coming through here. That'll be 15, rather, over to 16. Back onto the back part of this racetrack. And Quinn Armstrong looking to get that first victory of his young USF Pro Championships career, part of the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring. And again, fighting their way out. White flag flying here to the final driver across the line. That'll be Cabrera. Great job for, that's actually Taylor coming across the line right now. Waiting for the leader. Quinn Armstrong in the D-Force Racing Machine. Here he comes, and the celebration is underway. The team running out to the wall, and Quinn Armstrong will win the opening round of USF Juniors. Quinn Armstrong, the Aussie, winning in Sebring. Great start to the USF Juniors Championship for the young driver out of Australia. Quinn Armstrong winning. Joey Brienza coming home in second. Jack Jeffers in third. There's your unofficial podium. Fourth spot, Giafoni. Fifth is Barker. Sixth, Furcuri. Seventh, Lockhart. Ho in eighth. Golan ninth. Schoten, Eder, Cabrera, and Taylor rounding out the 13 drivers. Listen, green to checker. That's what we want for these young drivers. No yellows. 10 laps of green flag racing.
Yeah, and absolutely good job by the whole field, trying to keep it clean, obviously, through turn one here. Turn one can be very treacherous for any series that's here. So great job by all these drivers to kind of get the laps, get the experience that they need in order to further on their racing careers, especially. You get the more experience, that's going to pay dividends going on into the rest of the season.
Jordan Missick, thank you so much for joining me up here, but I appreciate it. Best of luck tomorrow and on Saturday.
Absolutely, Rob. Thanks for having me up here.
Jordan Missick for Pabst Racing will be on track in USF Pro 2000. Again, a great run for him at St. Petersburg, and he is excited to get on track. The USF Pro 2000 is joining USF Juniors tomorrow. But, of course, we've got Victory Lane still to come, folks. We'll have a little bit of a break in the action while I head over to Victory Lane. The drivers with the slow cool-down lap around this 3.7-mile circuit. And when I get there, we'll be joined by Quinn Armstrong, Joey Brienza, and Jack Jeffers. Don't go anywhere. Victory Lane celebrations after this break.
You don't want
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
Ready? And it's all thanks to Kyle. Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, It's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper! It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper Enduro Maxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
You don't want it hot.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
It's ready.
Wow. Are you sure it's ready?
Oh, it's ready.
And it's all thanks to Kyle. Thank you. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
It's your Uncle Cooper. If you and your truck are constantly tackling the regular duties of the day, go with a tire that can handle them all. Oh, man. I stepped in it. Go with the Coopers.
Discount Tire can change my tires and wiper blades at the same time. You can change your tires and wiper blades at the same time with Discount Tire.
I'm going back to bed.
You can change your tires and wiper blades at the same time with Discount Tire.
USF Pro Championships, the world's greatest motorsports ladder program with a proven formula, where top junior drivers from around the world come to compete across the best tracks in North America, where the opportunity to climb to the top is guaranteed, promoting every champion to the next stage, where champions are made and legends established. 52 races, over 50 up-and-coming drivers, and 3 scholarships valued at over $1.3 million. The USF Pro Championships, tomorrow's champions, forged today.
Well, folks, welcome down here to Victory Lane as we get underway with the first podium presentation of our 2023 USF Junior Championship presented by Cooper Tires, the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring, and these are, of course, the young drivers just getting into this USF Pro Championships. Fantastic battle there for sure, and some great racing further back. The battle from 4th back to 7th was wild for a time as well. But this is when we get to celebrate the drivers who were able to work their way to the podium to start off the new season. And we'll start with the driver coming home in 3rd place today from Exclusive Autosport, Jack Jeffers, finishing in 3rd. We'll get Mr. Dan Anderson to give us a hand here with trophy presentations. Jack, come on up here. We'll get things underway. Stand right over there. Jack Jeffers finishing in third, his debut weekend in the USF Juniors program. Great job for Jack. Just gonna make sure I get it right. Let's work our way in the guy finishing in second spot. A tremendous run here, started on the pole position. A great battle up front. We thought it might have been a last lap attack.
All track activities for today are finished. All track activities for today are finished. Track is cold. Track is cold. No is permitted on the racing surface at this time. Track is cold.
Joey, come on up over here, and we'll get Danny Anderson to come over and present you with the trophy. Second place for Joey Brienza out of the gate. 2 more races still to come here on the weekend. 2 tomorrow. It's going to be some great racing for sure. 1 more spot up here on the podium. And again, we had a chance to see this young driver work his way here into the program last year in the inaugural season of USF Juniors. Today, though, slotted into the second spot and chased down the leader, made the pass, and he is the opening winner of the 2023 season for D-Force Racing. Put your hands together for Quinn Armstrong. Quinn, come on over. We'll have a quick chat here first. Congratulations, man. That first win to start the season off. You were so excited when you got out of the car. Just tell me about the pure emotion of it.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely wonderful. I mean, starting 6th, we knew it was going to be hard, but as a team, we made the right call, and it paid dividends in the end, and now we're here.
You were closing up on him. Did you know in those last couple of laps you're going to have the speed? Did the car get better and better?
Yeah, for sure. It was coming and coming and coming, and towards the end, it really hooked up, and I knew that was the time to make the move, and it stuck.
Where was the move? I don't think we saw it on TV. Where did it happen?
I was down into 17, final corner on the inside. So, yeah.
Who do you want to thank today?
The whole of D-Force, really. There's not a single person in there that doesn't work hard all the time, and also my parents, of course. They've come the whole way from Australia to see me race and support me race, so I have to thank them as well.
Congratulations. Let's get that trophy up here. Sean Malone from Cooper Tires is going to come up and present that P1 trophy. And again, we got ourselves a group of talented drivers here this year at USF Juniors. What a drive for Quinn Armstrong. A move, as he said, down the inside of turn number 17. Joey Brienza tried to go back at him on the penultimate lap, but came up just short. They make up this first podium of 2023, and it is a good one, folks. We could see wins out of all of these drivers here today. Get those trophies up in the air, guys, over your heads. Of course, have to do the hat dance. We've got the champagne spray still to come. We'll let these guys put the trophies down. We'll move the car out of the way, too, so we don't get it covered in champagne. This car's got to go back for 2 more races tomorrow. Again, as I said, very talented drivers here in USF Juniors, folks. So put those trophies down on the ground, put them in the back. You can go after the sparkling cider, get to work. All right, guys, grab those bottles, grip it and rip it. It's time to celebrate race number 1. Oh, look at this. A classy little clink. All right, boys, let it rip. There it is. Big win for Quinn Armstrong to start the 2023 season. Joey Brienza coming home in second, and his exclusive Autosport teammate Jack Jeffers coming home in third. But on top of the box today, it's D-Force Racing and Quinn Armstrong. Thank you, folks, for tuning in to the broadcast here on USF Pro Championships TV. We got so much more racing for you coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate it. On behalf of everybody here in the program, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.